You might think you're the one watching this video. Your eyes scanning the screen, your ears catching the sounds, your mind analyzing every word. And behind it all, there's that familiar sense of me, a presence you've always known, quietly observing and experiencing. But what if that very assumption is just an illusion? What if the observer you believe yourself to be is actually just another part of what's being observed? Pause for a moment. Instead of focusing on the sights, sounds, or thoughts passing through, look directly at the awareness itself. Who's aware? Is there really a someone there? Or just the flow of experience unfolding on its own? This video isn't here to offer a new belief system or intellectual argument. It's an invitation to turn inward, not to find an answer, but to realize that the question, "Who am I?" might reveal something you've never seen before. So, take a deep breath, relax, and let awareness guide you. And if this resonates with something deeper within, if it opens a door to your inner self or spiritual insight, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Top Hidden Knowledge channel to stay tuned for more content that supports your personal and spiritual growth. It truly helps us keep creating what matters to you. In the ancient teachings of Vedanta, there is a word that resonates like a whisper from eternity: Sakshi, the silent witness. This is not the restless chatter of your mind, nor the fleeting waves of your emotions. It's not even the voice in your head that narrates your life, weaving stories of triumph and struggle. Sakshi is something far more profound. It is the pure awareness that observes all these things as they rise and fall, untouched and unchanging. Imagine a vast, still ocean holding every ripple and wave without being disturbed. That is the silent witness, and it is closer to you than your own breath. This concept is not confined to the wisdom of the East. Across time and cultures, mystics and seekers have pointed to this same truth, cloaked in different words, but shimmering with the same essence. Christian mystics spoke of an uncreated light within the soul, a divine spark that knows without effort and sees without eyes. The great Meister Eckhart, a 13th century theologian, described this presence as a knowing so pure it transcends thought, a seeing that needs no form. In the Sufi tradition, poets and sages like Rumi sang of God as the seer behind all seeing, the eternal gaze that beholds the dance of existence. And in Buddhism, particularly in the Mahayana and Dzogchen lineages, the notion of a fixed, permanent self is gently but firmly dismantled. What remains is not a someone, but an open, luminous awareness, empty of ego, yet brimming with presence. This is not mere poetry or abstract philosophy. These words are signposts pointing to something real, something alive within you right now. Pause and feel it. Behind the hum of your thoughts, beyond the pull of your emotions, there is a quiet knowing, a presence that has been with you since your first breath, silently witnessing every moment of your life. It was there when you laughed as a child, when you faced your deepest fears, and even now as you read these words, it has never left you and it never will. But why does this matter? In a world that demands our attention, screens flashing, notifications buzzing, responsibilities piling, what does it mean to turn toward this silent witness? It means rediscovering the source of your being. It means stepping out of the chaos of the mind and into a space of clarity and peace that is always available, no matter the circumstances. This is not about escaping life, but about meeting it fully, with a heart unburdened by the illusion of a separate self. Consider this: every thought you have, every emotion you feel, every sensation that passes through you is like a cloud drifting across the sky. The sky doesn't cling to the clouds, nor does it push them away. It simply holds space for them to appear and dissolve. Your awareness, Sakshi, is that sky. It is not the story of you with your name, your history, your dreams, or your fears. Those are the clouds, beautiful and transient. The silent witness is the vastness that allows them to be. This realization can be both humbling and liberating. Humbling because it dissolves the ego's claim to control, revealing that the you thought you were is just a fleeting pattern of thoughts and experiences. Liberating because it frees you from the need to defend or define that self. You are no longer a fragile someone struggling to hold it all together. You are the space in which it all unfolds, a space that is boundless, timeless, and whole. But how do you touch this truth? It begins with a simple shift in attention. Right now, as you sit here, notice the thoughts flickering through your mind. Don't judge them or chase them. Just observe. Notice the sensations in your body, the sounds around you, and then, gently, turn your attention to the one who is noticing, who is aware of these thoughts, who hears the sounds. Don't search for an answer in words or concepts. Simply rest in the act of noticing. That act, that pure, effortless awareness, is Sakshi. In recent decades, something fascinating has been unfolding. Modern science is beginning to echo what mystics have spoken of for thousands of years. In neuroscience and cognitive science, a bold and compelling idea is emerging. The brain does not reflect reality, it constructs it. We don't see the world as it truly is. We see the world as our brain predicts it to be. What you're experiencing right now, colors, images, sounds, even the sense of a continuous self, is essentially a user interface. According to cognitive scientist Donald Hoffman, you're not living in objective reality. You're living in a kind of virtual dashboard, designed by evolution to help you survive, not to show you the truth. Just like the icons on your desktop, they don't show you the actual files or code. They are simply functional representations that help you interact with the system. In the same way, the world you perceive isn't reality. It's a biological metaphor. And even the you think you are, the observer behind your eyes, isn't as real as it seems. Scientists have searched the human brain for decades, trying to find a center of consciousness, a place where the self resides. But they haven't found anything. No little person inside pulling the levers, just networks of processes, electrical patterns, and flows of information. Consciousness isn't a fixed point. It's a dynamic stream, constantly reconstructing itself in real time. And this is where science starts to resonate with ancient mystical insight. In Zen, there's the concept of no self, that there is no fixed I behind experience. In Dzogchen, teachers emphasize seeing without a seer. And now, neuroscience is saying the same thing. Perception happens, but the perceiver cannot be found. Take the phenomenon of blind sight, for example. People with damage to the visual cortex report that they're completely blind. Yet when asked to guess the shape or motion of an object, they guess correctly at astonishing rates. When asked how, they respond, "I don't know, I just guessed." But clearly, some form of vision is still happening, even though they're not consciously aware of it. So what's actually seeing? Who's doing the knowing? The answer seems to be no one. Awareness doesn't need an aware person. Observation unfolds without an observer. Consciousness simply arises without a center, without a self, without a storyteller behind the curtain. And it's here, right at this mysterious threshold, that science meets the sacred. When you realize that the self you've believed in is just a narrative arising in awareness, what's left is not nothingness, but a radiant living presence. You don't have to abandon science to touch the mystical. In fact, you only have to follow science to the edge of what it can measure, and right there, you'll find science beginning to listen to the whisper of the mystics. Ask yourself this: if there is no one seeing, then what is looking through these eyes? If consciousness isn't in the brain, where is it? And if the self is an illusion, then who are you? You're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're not your memories or even your body. You are the space in which all of these arise and dissolve. That space, Sakshi, is the bridge between science and mysticism, between the brain and pure awareness, between the limited self and the vastness of the universe. Let's slow down for a moment, close your eyes, and notice when everything else quiets down, what remains? Maybe you hear ambient sounds, feel your body touching the chair. A few thoughts drift by, but if you look closely, you'll sense something deeper, a silent knowing, wordless, formless, and free from judgment. That presence doesn't demand attention, it doesn't try to control anything, it simply is. And you've known it your whole life, wordlessly, intimately, and beyond description. In Vedanta, this is called Sakshi, the silent witness. But this isn't a someone hiding in your brain. It's not the you with a personality, a past, a purpose, or a name. Sakshi isn't part of the personal self. It's the background in which all experience arises and fades away. Vedanta says you are not the observer of the world. The world is arising in you, not the you of body and identity, but the invisible, limitless presence that exists before any concept or distinction was born. Even the sense that I am watching the world is just another experience unfolding within the field of awareness. This isn't a metaphor. It's a complete reversal of how you perceive reality. We've been conditioned to believe there's a world out there and a me inside looking at it. But if you truly observe, really pay attention, you'll realize that everything is happening in here. Everything you know about the world comes through inner experience, images in the mind, sounds in awareness, sensations in the body. So where exactly is this outside world? And who is the observer? When you look deeply, both dissolve, like morning mist in the rising sun. All that remains is pure awareness, undivided and unlabeled, and within that awareness, both the world and the self arise, then fade, like waves on a still lake. Science calls this the non-linearity of consciousness. Mystics call it emptiness or shunyata. No matter what name you give it, the experience is the same. There is no longer I am aware. There is only awareness. And this awareness doesn't need a reason to exist. It doesn't come from the brain. It doesn't depend on thoughts. It is the deepest background, the knowing that knows everything, yet cannot be known itself. Try sensing it again, right now. No thinking, no effort. There is a presence hearing these words. It's not that you are listening. Listening is simply happening. It's not that you are seeing. Seeing is unfolding on its own, with no you behind it. And when you let go of all the concepts, all the images, all the stories about who you think you are, what remains is not emptiness. It's pure aliveness, a stillness that knows all motion, an open space where the world arises and dissolves like ripples on a pond. So, what is awareness? It's not a part of you. It's not a skill. It's not a goal you can reach. It is what you already are. It can't be grasped, but it's always present. It can't be described, but it's the only thing that's ever been real. And when you truly realize this, not just intellectually, but with the quiet knowing of your heart, then the world no longer feels like something you have to struggle against. It becomes a dance unfolding within you, and you are the boundless space in which everything is born. In near-death experiences across cultures and continents, people report something uncannily similar. It's not that they are watching their life from above like a movie reel playing in reverse. It's that they are suddenly and unmistakably being seen, but this gaze doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. Not through eyes, not through perception as we know it, but through a presence so vast, so intimate, it feels as if your entire being is held in a kind of boundless knowing. People describe this presence as deeply intelligent, yet utterly formless. It doesn't speak, yet you understand everything. It doesn't judge, yet it sees you fully, naked, raw, and somehow unconditionally accepted. This experience isn't limited to those who have brushed against death. Longtime meditators speak of moments when the mind quiets, the identity dissolves, and what's left isn't a blank emptiness, but a kind of luminous clarity, a stillness that sees you, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. On psychedelic journeys, particularly with compounds like psilocybin or DMT, many describe a similar encounter, a sense of being watched or witnessed, not in a threatening or invasive way, but with profound intimacy, as if life itself is aware of you, as if you are being known by something ancient and eternal. And here's the most powerful part. This intelligence has no face, no name, no need for language. It doesn't live somewhere else. It's not in the sky or beyond the stars. It's already here, always has been. The only reason we don't notice it is because we are constantly distracted by the noise of our own thoughts. The endless commentary, the internal narrator, the story of me that plays on repeat. We're so busy thinking ourselves into existence that we miss the truth of what's already aware, already present, already watching, without effort, without form, without beginning or end. What's extraordinary is that this presence doesn't require belief. You don't need to adopt a new religion or worldview. It's not something you need to achieve or earn. You don't find it by becoming someone else. You discover it by not being anything at all, by letting go of the self-image, the roles, the striving, by sitting still long enough for the surface to settle, and then something quiet begins to shimmer underneath, a familiar unfamiliarity, a recognition without words. You are not simply a being who sees. You are a being who is being seen from the inside by a presence that is not other than you, but also infinitely more than the you thought you were. This presence is the same stillness that watches your dreams unfold, the same awareness that has witnessed every moment of your life, from childhood laughter to heartbreak to now. It never left you. You just forgot to notice. Imagine being known without having to explain yourself. Imagine being held in awareness without having to perform, achieve, or prove anything. Imagine that the deepest part of you, the part that never changes, never ages, never fears, is already seen, already loved, already home. This is not an escape from life. It's the beginning of a deeper way of living, where you are no longer trapped in the mirror of your mind, but resting in the quiet truth behind all reflections. So take a breath, let the thoughts fall away, and just for a moment, feel what it's like to be seen from within, not by the world, but by the awareness that is the world looking back through you. Imagine just for a moment that you're a character in a video game. You wake up inside the game world. You have a name, a storyline, a set of skills. You walk, speak, react, make choices. Other characters respond to you. The landscape feels real. The emotions are vivid, and yet you have no idea there's a screen behind the scene, no awareness of the code running in the background, no recognition of the electricity pulsing through the system. The avatar thinks it's autonomous. It thinks, I'm doing this, I'm making these choices, I am this character. But what happens when the avatar starts to sense that it's not the one in control? What happens when it begins to suspect that its thoughts, reactions, even its identity, are not the whole story? That moment of realization changes everything, because the avatar isn't the player. It's the interface. The player is something else entirely, unseen, non-local, but deeply present. In this metaphor, your everyday self, the one that says, "I am me." The one that narrates your life and makes decisions is the avatar. It's functional, necessary, even beautiful in its complexity, but it's not you, not ultimately. The deeper awareness that sees through your eyes but isn't limited to them. That's the player. That's the one who's truly alive, and once you begin to glimpse this, something extraordinary happens. Identity becomes transparent. You no longer feel the compulsive need to protect your image, prove your worth, or defend. Your opinions like your life depends on it, because you realize your true life never depended on those things in the first place. They were just part of the simulation. This doesn't mean the avatar becomes meaningless. In fact, when you're no longer caught in it, you begin to play it with more care, more clarity, more grace. You start to see your identity as a creative costume, not a prison, a tool, not a truth. Instead of being bound by the self, something deeper begins to breathe through you, a kind of intelligence that doesn't speak in words, a kind of love that doesn't demand recognition, a stillness that isn't passive, but profoundly alive. This shift isn't about rejecting the human experience. It's about embracing it from a higher vantage point, one that sees the full picture without getting trapped in the pixels. The game is still happening. You still feel joy and sorrow. You still love people, make mistakes, grow, laugh, cry. But now there's a deeper knowing underneath it all. I am not this momentary role. I am the screen it's playing on. I am not this reaction. I am the presence that witnesses it. I am not the voice in the head. I am the silence listening to it. From this place, suffering starts to soften, not because life gets easier, but because you're no longer trying to force everything to fit a fragile sense of identity. You realize you don't have to carry the weight of being someone. You already are everything, expressed uniquely through this temporary form. And maybe that's the real freedom, not in escaping the simulation, but in remembering who's playing. So take a breath, step back from the story, and ask yourself, not as a concept, but as a living question: if I'm not the character, who or what is aware of the character? What sees without being seen? What plays without being played? That's not something the mind can answer, but you can feel it right now, in the stillness between thoughts, in the presence that was always here, quietly watching the game unfold. Zen Buddhism unveils a profound truth. Awakening is not about becoming something new, but about realizing what has always been. It's described as seeing without a seer, a state where thoughts arise, emotions ebb and flow, and actions unfold. Yet there's no one orchestrating them. The notion of a doer is merely another fleeting thought, a whisper in the mind. What remains in the absence of this illusion is presence, awake, still, and profoundly non-personal. This isn't a void or a barren emptiness. It's a living silence, vibrant and whole, pulsating with the essence of existence. Imagine standing in this space of pure presence. There's no effort required to summon compassion. It simply flows, like a river finding its course. Why? Because the artificial boundary between self and other dissolves. When you gaze into another person's eyes, you don't just see them. You feel the same boundless light shining through, a light that connects all things. This isn't a poetic metaphor. It's a visceral, direct experience. It's as if the universe itself is looking back at you, recognizing itself in the mirror of another's gaze. The key insight here is revolutionary, yet simple. You are not the source of awareness. You are not the observer standing apart, watching the world unfold. You are the aperture, the opening through which consciousness pours. Think of a window. Light doesn't originate from it. It streams through it. Similarly, consciousness doesn't belong to the individual. The you that you identify with, the personality, the story, the ego, is merely the shape the light takes in this moment. But the light itself It's timeless, boundless, unborn, and undying. It's the eternal essence that precedes and outlasts every form. This perspective doesn't alter the surface of life. You still eat, breathe, laugh, cry, stumble, and grow. You navigate the messiness of relationships, the demands of work, the quiet joys of a sunset. But beneath the surface, everything shifts. The relentless need to control the narrative of your life falls away. You stop believing you're the one steering the ship. Instead, you rest in the awareness that cradles every moment, every experience, every breath. Paradoxically, this surrender brings freedom. By letting go of the illusion of control, you become more alive, more attuned, more loving. You're no longer confined to the narrow story of me. This awakening is like stepping out from behind a lens. You're not the photographer capturing the scene. You're part of the light itself, illuminating the world. The implications are profound. Fear loses its grip because there's no separate self to protect. Judgment softens because there's no other to oppose. Love becomes effortless because you recognize that the light in you is the same light in everyone and everything. So pause, right now as these words settle into silence. Notice what remains, what is here without effort, what perceives the world but doesn't grasp, what hears the hum of existence but doesn't speak. Stay there. That presence isn't a guest passing through. It's what you've always been. It's not a character in the drama of life, but the stage on which the play unfolds. This isn't philosophy or dogma. It's not about adopting a belief or chasing a mystical experience. It's about seeing reality clearly once the fog of identity lifts. The mind, with its endless chatter and questions, can obscure this truth, but it can't erase it. When the mind quiets, when the need to define or defend falls away, what remains is radiant presence, simple, unnamed, undivided. You've never lived a moment without it. You couldn't. It's the ground of your being, the space where the world arises. Consider this. Every experience, every joy, sorrow, triumph, or failure appears within this presence. The world isn't something you're watching from a distance. It's unfolding in you. The chirping of birds, the weight of a difficult decision, the warmth of a loved one's smile, all of it emerges in the boundless awareness that you are. This realization doesn't remove you from life, it plunges you deeper into it. You engage with the world, not as a separate entity, but as an expression of the whole. Living from this understanding transforms how you move through the world. Challenges still arise, but they no longer define you. Relationships deepen because you meet others not as roles or rivals, but as reflections of the same light. Even mundane moments, a sip of coffee, the rustle of leaves, become sacred when seen through the lens of presence. You're no longer chasing meaning or purpose, you embody them. This awakening isn't reserved for monks or mystics. It's available to anyone willing to pause and look inward. It doesn't require years of meditation or esoteric knowledge, just a willingness to question the story of me and notice what's already here. The beauty of Zen is its simplicity. It points directly to the truth that's closer than your breath, more intimate than your thoughts. So let's try it again. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breath. Notice the thoughts drifting through your mind. Don't chase them. Don't resist them. Let them pass like clouds. What remains? When the clouds part, what is aware of this moment yet untouched by it? That's the essence of Zen. That's the light shining through you. This is the invitation of awakening, to live not as a separate self, but as the space where life unfolds. To see without a seer, to love without a lover, to be without a story. It's not about escaping the world, but embracing it fully, knowing that you are both the wave and the ocean, the form and the formless. In this knowing, life becomes a dance, not a struggle, but a celebration of the light that never fades. What did you think about today's video? In your opinion, when the sense of self dissolves, can what remains be considered true inner freedom? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If this video opened your mind or helped you see reality in a new light, don't forget to like and subscribe to Top Hidden Knowledge so you never miss our next deep dive into mystery, perception, and the hidden workings of our universe. And if you have time, explore. More videos on our channel. We're just getting started. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and never stop questioning the world around you.